So we were playing in Malden and a lady came up to me quite gruffly. "Where did you get this picture?" she said, from our poster. She was pointing to a picture of some old people from the turn of last century. And I said, "I've always had that picture. That's my great-grandmother." It was her great-grandmother. So I found this relative.
Unsung Heroes is a show
that explores Australian history like you've never heard before.
Which combines narration, storytelling,
music,
original songs,
and footage behind, which sort of reflect the stories that we're singing about.
We do get a set of standard stories that we learn in history, that we learn in school.
Unsung Heroes, it's an interesting thing.
It's all the stuff you didn't learn at school.
Some of it's known and some of it's not known, so there's a lot of surprises.
It's not precisely a theatrical piece and it's not precisely a musical piece, but the whole thing just transports people, and the purpose of it is to tell the story of
the lesser known people that you've probably not heard of.
An ordinary person's extraordinary acts in the course of the building of this nation.
I think this show is different from other shows because it's not just a concert, it's not just a bunch of songs.
It's got a really strong thread of authenticity.
I think this show is for people who like a good story.
They'll come initially because they're interested in history.
They can be old, they can be young, they can be students, they can be school kids.
But anyone who sees it ends up being engaged. The fascinating thing about it is you'll have a surly teenager in a school audience with the sneer, and half a song in, they're ours, they're in our hands.
They don't just pay money and consume a show. We invite the audience members to tell their story.
It's evolving, it can change, and we can tailor-make this show to suit time constraints, to suit a certain area.
In other instances, we actually get to work with the community before the show, with them being involved musically with us or us doing workshops with the local kids.
One story that I'll never forget has still stuck with me, where we're performing
the song that we sing about Moira's father,
who had experienced post-traumatic stress after World War II and never talked about it.
And we had a fella come up to us
Who had tears in his eyes and remarked his dad was exactly the same. He was a Vietnam vet himself. He'd never spoken about his war experiences. And hearing the song, he wanted to go home and tell his own kids.
You know, we get standing ovations a lot of the time, and there's nothing like seeing a bunch of people who have got so excited by what you've done that they want to stand up and shout and cheer, and then they rush up and tell you their stories.
Whenever we do the show, I'm always moved by audience responses and what they get from it.
It really sums up the whole thing.
It's poignant, it's uplifting, it's funny in parts, it's a bit of everything, but it's real.
It's the truth of it that makes it special.
Who are we? Unsung heroes of ours.